everybody. Say hi, Callie. Oh, well, welcome back to my shop, everybody. Now, those of you who have been with me here for a little bit have seen a bit of a transformation, and it will continue to change. I just picked up this workbench behind me yesterday, so the shop is an ongoing process, always. My life is an ongoing process. Anyway, I'm down here this morning with my shop kitty, and I'm going to do a little something with this. So the gardening season is coming to an end, and it won't be long before we have a frost and it kills a bunch of things outside, but the pansies are going to be just fine. So I picked up a few more. I had this old a terracotta pot that was left behind by a previous tenant here, and I wanted to fill it up with some potting soil. I picked up some pink tulip varieties here. So I'll plant the tulips in here. I'll put a few of these pansies in to make a nice winter pot. And then in the spring, the tulips will come up. It'll be gorgeous. All right, so let's get started with this here project. All right, so we'll split a little time between the shop and the garden today. Mostly in the garden. I'm just in here with my heater running. So, I mentioned the previous tenant, right? So I'm renting where I am right now. When I retired, I sold my house and just simplifying my life, right? And right now I am just renting as I decide, where do we go from here? I do want to do a lot more traveling. But, for the time being, I'm content just to stay here for the wintertime and take care of some projects. And then we'll see what happens come spring. All right. So I'm going to fill up this about halfway. And then I will put the tulip bulbs in. All right. All right, so I'm going to get the camera over here a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so I've got that about half full. And we'll just place these guys around. I think I've got 18 total tulip bulbs here. So that should make a nice display. Come on, last one. It's always the last one. There we are. All right. So I'm just gonna poke these in and see what the spacing looks like and adjust as necessary. There's no exact science about this. Just kind of do a little bit of an even spacing, and yep, there you go. That looks about right. Let's see. Let's make sure that we've got the distal end up and the basal end down. That looks good. All right. Oh, a little more. Come on, baby. All right. That should work out all right. Now these blue ones, this is Matrix Denim. It's got a nice dark blue flower. Just poke those in. One over here, one over there. Now the rest of these things, you know, not all of these are going to fit into this pot, of course. So I got plenty of room out in the garden to plug holes. So this is a citrus mix, they call it. It's got a yellow, white, and some yellowy orange colors. Looks nice. I basically wanted something that was a little bit more yellow, but this is what I could find. Slim pickings right now. And how about one of these guys over here? This looks nice. All right, let me see. I've got a white with some blue veins in it with that one, so I'll put that in. And let's see how we're looking here. I'm thinking I've got pretty much a full pot. All right, so let's put these in there. Now the tulip bulbs aren't down very far, so I want to be careful that I don't mess them up too badly. Oh, this is going to be real pretty. I do enjoy working in my garden. Those of you who don't know, my first career was in landscaping and nursery. I actually have a Bachelor of Science in ornamental horticulture. I was studying landscape management at the time, and I did go into the landscape industry and ended up, you know, working for large corporations for the most part, which isn't my, you know, first love, but that's where the money was. So chasing the career and chasing the dollar. All right, just top this off a little bit. Now all of the soil will settle when I get it watered in. And I've got just the spot in mind to put this out there. A couple more handfuls. Oh, a little here, a little over there. All right, there we go. All right, let's take this outside and get it watered in, and then put it out into the garden. Okay. So I thought I would put that pot up here on top of this glass top patio table that I've got over here in the outside stuff storage area. No, I put that low pot down on the ground. Charlie is going to lift a leg and pee on it and, you know, kill things, and so I'm not going to put it on the ground. So put it up here in the air, and I thought that this, along with the fuchsias, would look pretty nice. I just have to decide how I want to arrange this. So let's see what happens here when I start moving some things around. I like this little solar light that's in here. That looks real nice at night. Okay. I don't know, how's this thing gonna look if it's in the middle? Well, I guess that's not so bad. At least for now, that'll be fine. Maybe I'll find something else to put back here. That'd be great. All right, let's get that watered in. All right, and that's that. On to the next project. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, so what I wanted to do next, I've got this pile of rocks and some driftwood pieces that are just over here collecting debris, and I can use them. I want to put them around the base of the water feature here, and so that's what I'm going to do next. Well, there you go. That beats having them just over there collecting debris. And the garden area just continues to evolve. So what I wanted to do next was come out here and plug a few holes. You know, it's not going to be very much longer than all of these marigolds and the zinnias and even the salvia here. They're all going to get killed by the frost. The poppies, they will die back to the ground as well. And the pansies are going to be about the only thing that remain. So, I've got a few holes here. I'm going to plug in some of the pansies that I've got. And we will just continue working with it. Just take it from here. So I wanted to continue putting in some of these brighter colors. In the wintertime, I will be happy to have anything bright going on out here, right? And there isn't a lot of space to fill here, but it's just one of those things you just continue working, right? Just I think I'm going to get rid of that little zinnia. It's not doing anything. And after the frost kills off these other plants, then these pansies will be there looking fairly decent when I pull out the dead stuff or cut it back. These salvias should overwinter. I live in a pretty temperate climate, and you know, my winters generally don't get lower than the lower 30s. Sometimes they'll get into the 20s and very rarely into the teens. But you know, it stays pretty damp, pretty cold, but not a lot of freezing going on here. We will occasionally get snow, but not that often. All right, a little bit more. The soil is nice and loose, easy to dig in. And a little bit more. There's a white one. And I think that's just about it for here right now. Well, I'll tell you what, I see another little hole over here. I could plug a couple in right over here, and one into the corner down here where you can't really see, right here. All right, and we've got rain coming in later on tonight, and so this soil is plenty moist. I'm not going to worry about watering it in. I know I've got another couple of holes over here that I could fill. All right, this bed has daffodil bulbs in it, and then the pansies on the top. So I see a couple of little holes in the pansies now that things have settled into place, and I'm just gonna pop in a couple of these things to fill the hole. You know, Charlie comes over here and lifts his leg on these, and this corner right here takes a bit of a beating. And I'm hopeful with the colder weather and the rain, it doesn't do quite as much damage. But you know, I think that's wishful thinking, right? Oh, where'd it go? Right here. And this guy. It can be hard coming up with plants these days. It's you know, all of the nurseries are gearing towards the Christmas season, and you know, annuals are pretty much out of the picture right now, right? It's coming into winter, and so you know, there's a few things like cyclamen and some mums, but the mums don't last all that long. They look really nice for about a month, and then they're gone, right? The pansies will last all winter, and then next spring, you know, they'll put on a big growth push, so they'll be just fine. Cyclamen can be good, but they don't really spread that well. They just, you know, stay where they are. Anyway, I got another little hole here. So I had to run all over 3 different towns the other day looking for pansies. And I found some in 4-inch, but the ones in 6-packs, not very many of them. Okay, I've got 3 pansies left over here, and I'm gonna find another hole. All right, so I've got a little hole here I could fill. If I move the poppies aside, I can see a little bit of bare soil right in here. And this is the pot that has my espaliered apple tree in it. And so, as things die back, these pansies will be there to provide a little bit of color. All right. Here we are, just kind of a little triangle of pansies right there. All right, there we go. All right, well, that's where I'm going to leave you today. So thank you for joining in, and until next time, take a hike. Be blessed.